Yeah. I have this feeling that someone's not going to tell you the truth in that situation anyway. Yeah, it's a it's a little bit of a redundant question to say to somebody, you don't mean me, do you? Because that puts them in a position of, well, basically where they have to say no, whether it's yes or no. Um, they have to say no because otherwise they're going to be offensive towards you. So you you can't win with that question. Isn't it obvious to people? Isn't it obvious to adults who other people are talking about? Maybe it's not. I mean, it's usually obvious to me. Well, it will vary from minister to minister. There's nothing wrong with a personal story if it's clear and it's making the point that you want to make. Um, well, if you're not that type of person, then he wasn't talking about you, and there's nothing to worry about. Yeah, intelligent people know to not live their life by rumors because rumors can be as much wrong as they are right. And there's the old saying that a lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth anyway. So it's very hard to know what the truth is in certain situations. The only way to know the truth is to get to know people. That's, and that takes time. And some people want to take the time, and others don't have the time to give. And that's how that's the process of selection with how you choose friends, right? You choose the people who are prepared to take the time to understand you. And in a busy workplace, it's just not possible. The number of times I've heard negative things about people and then met them and thought that these are really nice people. So all of the prejudgment that I heard was wrong. And what kind of person will tell you what another person is like in a completely negative way? What is the point of that? What is the point of telling person A that person C is a bad person? What personal gain is there from that? All you're doing is putting making people further apart, and people need to be left to make their own judgments for themselves. Um, it's the same problem the parents have when they say to their kids, "Don't play with those kids. I don't want you playing with those kids. I don't want you mixing with those children." Well, the children need to make those decisions for themselves, and it's really hard because as a parent, maybe there are some children that I would not like my son playing with, but he has to make that decision himself if he wants to play with those children or not. And he has to live with the consequences of doing that. I can tell him what I like, but at the same time, I can tell him that he doesn't have to do what I like because I could be wrong. There's no absolute law of the universe that dad is right about everything. It doesn't exist. Dad gets things wrong as much as other people get things wrong. So everyone has to learn to make those important decisions for themselves. And so many times I've heard so many negative things about people, and then you meet the people and they're just really nice people. I don't think that we can really regret things that teach us something. And I don't think that we can, when okay, before you went, you didn't know how it would be, but you don't know that until you go and do it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's the problem. The problem is you look back with regret and say, "Oh, I wasted my time." But that's not really true because you never know what is going to come out of the things that you do. Now, there's a potential it will be negative. There's always that potential. But at the same time, there's a potential it will be positive. So so we never really know whether our activities are successful or unsuccessful. We receive feedback either way. And the feedback is when the feedback is, well, I could have spent my time better. It's like, well, yeah, but you didn't know that before. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you don't know if you don't go what will happen. And it's always better to be in control, and being in control usually means acting. It means doing something, controlling what you can control. Um, Believe it or not, we can control the outcome of events and our own feelings. We have the power to do that. And other people will influence us as much as we let or allow other people to influence us. So um, that I tend to think that the way we feel in our own mind about the activity is really important. And if we have a negative approach to things, then they will they will be negative. It doesn't mean that we should ignore the negativity. It just means that we need to play the game on our terms. I think we need to have zero expectation. Whatever we do, we need to have zero expectation. This doesn't mean don't expect good things to happen. It just means that everybody's got their own agenda. Well, then again, you never know. Maybe you stay at home and you go out for a walk and you get hit by a car, right? You don't know, right?
Mhm.
Maybe the trip saved your life.
Maybe.
You don't know. Like maybe you go out for a walk and you fall over and you hurt yourself or something, and maybe I don't know. Maybe you come home and you stay at home and you eat some bad food and you get sick with food poisoning or something. You don't know. You
Mm.
say that it was bad, but maybe it saved your life. We don't know. Yeah, yes, it was a trial. Yes, it was a test. And if we're religious, then we understand that the test is part of the process, right? Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe there's some other relationship there. Is it going to the question to ask yourself is it going to matter in 100 years what this man said? Why are you seeking appreciation? It's just a question that's in my mind. Um, why are you seeking appreciation? Why do you think? What's your opinion? Why are you seeking justice?
Mm.
We have to be careful in seeking justice because perhaps the system that we are in is unjust. Look what happened to Jesus. He was a real character and he had real experiences. That's why he had so many followers, because people could relate to this feeling of injustice. And it was symbolic of how freedoms are destroyed. It was also symbolic of how sacrifice can save people. Um, your job, in many ways, as the job of most teachers, is a sacrifice. You sacrifice your time, your effort, your energy, your intellect. If we are in control of our own lives, I have to think that we are, right? If we are in control of our own lives, then the injustice we experience is part of what we need to experience to grow as people. It's not an easy thing to experience. I mean, it's easier to go through life blind in many ways. It, it, because you don't have to deal with a lot, but then you don't learn a lot, and you don't see a lot either. Um, this this need for a level of equality, a level of justice, a level of appreciation. This can't be found in a system which is not just. Um, it can't be found there because the aim of the system is not to create justice. The aim of the system is survival. Like school is Hunger Games, right? That's why young people relate to it, because it reminds them of school. Yeah, because it very much relates to their life. It very much relates to their experience of school. It's survival. It's survival of the fittest. They are told in school, you must work to get these certificates, because if you don't get a certificate, you won't get a job. If you won't get a job, you won't have any money. If you won't have any money, you won't have a place to live. If you don't, and so on, it will be a downward spiral. So they're very much experiencing the Hunger Games principle on a daily basis. It's not as they're obviously not fighting to kill each other just yet, but it's been like that in societies in the past, and it could return to be like that again in societies in the future. I think very often that the students themselves, whether they like that responsibility or not, are the clients of the education system. And I think it's worth asking them what it is that they want. And I don't just mean on the surface. And I don't just mean, oh, we want everything for nothing.
Yeah.
It's life is about negotiation. Now, it can be done the easy way or the hard way. We can do this with as much aggravation and resentment as you want. We can we can rub everybody the wrong way, okay? And get all frustrated and get all heated. Maybe you're doing the right thing, but that's not what the school wants. You're not being paid to think. Yeah, look, teachers are not. Teachers are paid for results. They're not paid to think. Look, racing drivers are not paid to think. They're paid to come first, right? Nobody cares what the philosophy of, I don't know, who's the number one driver in the world. I don't know, Lewis Hamilton, whatever, right? Nobody cares what his philosophy is. Nobody cares. He's paid to win races, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you know, you're. It's like your dog is there to show you love and affection. Nobody cares about what his philosophy is, or even if he has a philosophy, right? So the teacher's role is very much similar. You have to perform a function, and sadly, you're not paid to think. Um, Philosophers are paid to think, not teachers. Teachers are not paid to think. Right? There's no part of your contract for work that says you're paid to think. You're not paid to be stupid, but you're not paid to overthink, right? You're not paid to. You could come up with a revolutionary new system which would get the students perfect results. You know what the school would do? They'd fire you instantly. Look, if you came up with a revolutionary system that gave the students perfect results, they would fire you instantly. Because that's not your job. Everybody would be angry with you.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know this? Because this has happened to every great teacher in history. Almost every great teacher has been fired from their job, or suffered problems. And they make films about the teachers, and they glorify the teachers through the films. And I don't mean documentary films. I mean actually like Hollywood kind of films about the teachers, and the true story. But the truth is that all of these teachers have massive problems in their work because of their success. The more successful you are, the more people will hate you. There are certain demands that are acceptable and certain demands that are unacceptable. So it depends on the person and the place. But let's take a step back for a second. You were unsatisfied with the students because of their inconsistencies. Now, you changed your system to the students. That is inconsistent. I'm not saying it is to you or to me, but I'm saying to the students. To the students, changes might appear as inconsistencies because it's not the same. It's not the same as it was. the same frustration you have towards the students is the same frustration the students have towards you when you change something. It's an inconsistency. It's a maybe from your perspective you're making it easier for them, but they will never understand that because they're not on your level.